Subscribe to my channel. Click on bell icon to get notification about new video.
Chapter 2.3 Connecting the Dots. Steve Jobs, 1955 to 2011, was an American entrepreneur, business magnate, inventor, and industrial designer. Entrepreneur means businessman. Inventor means creator. He was the chairman, chief executive officer, and co-founder of Apple Inc. He is widely recognized as one of the pioneers of the microcomputer revolution of the 1970s and 1980s. Pioneers means a first person to invent. Today, I want to tell you 3 stories from my life. That's it. Just 3 stories. The first story is about connecting the dots. I dropped out of Reed College after the first 6 months, but then stayed around as a drop-in for another 18 months before I really quit. Dropped out of means discontinued or left. Drop-in means visitor. Looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and began dropping in on the ones that looked interesting. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friends' rooms. Dorm means dormitory. I returned Coke bottles for the 5-cent deposits to buy food with, and I would walk 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. Cent means a coin worth 1/100th of the US dollar. I loved it. And much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on. Curiosity means a strong desire to know. Intuition means the ability to understand immediately. Here's one example. Reed College offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Calligraphy means decorative handwriting. Because I had to take a calligraphy class, I learnt about serif and sans serif typefaces, about what makes great typography great. Typography means the appearance of printed matter. Serif means a slight projection line attached to end of a letter. Sans serif, that doesn't have stroke at the end of letter. Typefaces means a particular type of design. 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. And we designed it all into the Mac. Mac means Macintosh computer. If I had never dropped in on that course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces, or for that matter, even proportionally spaced fonts. And since Windows just copied Mac, it's likely no personal computer would have them. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college. Connect the dots means associate one idea previous to another, that is next, to find or create a new big picture. But it was very clear looking backwards 10 years later. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in some things, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Gut means courage and determination. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. My second story is about love and loss. I found what I loved to do early in life that is, Steve Wozniak and I started Apple when I was 20. In 10 years, Apple had grown from just the 2 of us in a garage into a $2 billion company. And then I got fired. Got fired means lost the job. It was devastating. Devastating means causing severe shock, distress, and grief. But something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did. Began to dawn on means began to become clear too. And so I decided to start over. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. Freed means released. During the next 5 years, I started a company, Next, another company named Pixar, and fell in love with an amazing woman who would become my wife. Pixar is now the world's most successful animation studio. Apple bought Next. Animation means liveliness. I returned to Apple, and the technology we developed at Next is at the heart of Apple's current renaissance. Renaissance means rebirth or revival. And Laureen and I have a wonderful family together. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Hits you in the head with a brick means gives a great shock suddenly. Don't lose faith. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. My third story is about death. About a year ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. My doctor advised me to go home and get my affairs in order, which is doctor's code for prepare to die. Affairs means events or incidents. I lived with that diagnosis all day. Later that evening, I had a biopsy. Biopsy means an examination of tissue removed from a body to discover the disease. It turned out to be a very rare form of pancreatic cancer that is curable with surgery. Pancreatic cancer means a cancer of a large gland behind the stomach that secretes digestive enzymes. I had the surgery and I'm fine now. This was the closest I've been to facing death, and I hope it's the closest I get for a few more decades. Having lived through it, I can now say this to you. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Dogma means belief or a set of beliefs held by a group or organization which others are expected to accept without argument. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. Drown out means be louder than another sound and prevent it being heard. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. When I was young, there was an amazing publication called The Whole Earth Catalogue. In the final issue, on the back cover, they put a photograph of an early morning country road. Beneath it were the words, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." Beneath means below. It was their farewell message as they signed off. I have always wished that for myself. And now, as you graduate to begin anew, I wish that for you. Stay hungry, stay foolish. Anew means in a new or different way. Stay hungry means always keep wanting something more, something new. Stay foolish means always keep an open mind, never think you know everything. By Steve Jobs.